I'm doing this video today to talk about why it's so important that we start to look at the food that we're eating. Because to be completely honest with you, nearly all of the food that is sold in supermarkets, which is kind of processed and ready-made, is really poisonous. You just have to look around at the amount of ill people that there are everywhere. And even if those people aren't actually ill, I mean, just kind of how tired, old, worn out and frankly overweight most of the British population are, and this is something that I'm seeing more and more. And I mean, look at the amount of young people that are walking around with sticks. I mean, people in their 30s who have got such bad arthritis or conditions of that sort that they can't even walk without a stick, and you know, they're really impaired in their life. And I just think it's so important that I bring, it to your attention, and because there really is just one answer to this: diet. Obviously, we can't take into account, we can't really do anything about some of the stuff that's happening environmentally, and I actually have spoken about this a lot recently, and why I've kind of turned my back on talking about that and that kind of activism, because really we've just got absolutely no control over what they're spraying into the atmosphere. Over the pollution that's happening and all the rest of it. I do, however, think that the opposition towards fracking is fantastic, because we're seeing progress in that area, because it's something on the ground that people can actually physically stop from happening and make it really difficult for these companies to actually begin fracking. But when it comes to something like what's being sprayed into the air or what's not being sprayed into the air, because let's face it, we haven't actually got any absolute proof as to what those chemicals are or what's actually happening in terms of geoengineering, there's nothing we can do about it. So I think it's just really important to focus on the things that we can change, and to implement change as much as we can within our own lives. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of posting recently about food and about the changes that we can make, which are really simple, towards ridding ourselves of toxins, detoxing our bodies, and then beginning on a healthy diet and actually staying on it. Because it's so important not to take on board diet that is a diet that's kind of fad based. And most people who are aware will know that these kind of weight loss diets, and actually you can actually buy weight loss products at really dodgy, just stay away from them. Because even if you see results in the short term, you're not going to keep that weight off, because the brain, the neural pathways in your brain have actually been trained to crave unhealthy food. So the minute you stop those diets, the brain's going to start back on craving that stuff. And also there is memory within all the cells in the body as well. So we have to retrain ourselves to actually start craving healthy food, which is what happens after a few weeks of changing your diet. You'll actually find that you only want to eat healthy food, and that's why I really advocate making these changes, which are really simple. Because we don't have to be those people. We don't have to be those kind of grey shuffling people that seem to be everywhere in the UK. I mean, I can't speak about other countries, but I know that the media lie, the mainstream media lie all the time about how we're living longer. That is absolute rubbish. And if you actually look at the statistics, it simply doesn't stack up. We're not living longer. We're not living as long, basically, and people are getting all kinds of chronic and fatal diseases at a young age, and it really is avoidable a lot of the time. I'm not saying that you can 100% protect yourself from cancer or from these fatal illnesses by changing your diet, but you are reducing the chances of getting one of those fatal diseases. Even if you have one already, you are massively improving your chances of healing yourself and getting over those by completely changing your diet to a plant-based diet. And I would say, if you are suffering from any kind of illness, the best thing to do is to go on a short juice detox, and that's literally only juicing. Most people can't handle it for as long as 7 days. A lot of the health experts advocate 3 weeks before you then go on to a vegan diet, and a raw vegan diet. But even if you do 3 days, it's going to really start to kind of boost your system into recovery mode. And also, because you're just juicing, you don't need to be digesting anything, and so the body is able to kind of focus just on healing whilst you're on that juice detox, and then go on to a 100% raw vegan diet. basically for as long as you can. And it's okay if you have the odd bit of cooked, but make sure that there's nothing processed in there and that you're making everything from scratch. So if you're going to have rice, go obviously for organic rice, and you need to go for a brown rice as well. And that goes for all grains in general. Actually, don't go for anything that's processed, anything that's had bleach put through it, because a lot of these things have. Just stick to organic, unprocessed grains. And basically in everything you eat, you need to be going for the unprocessed version, which is quite easy to find these days, because as I've spoken about before, these corporations are now under massive pressure because of the growing trend towards people actually wanting healthy food, to stock it on the shelves, and it is there. Obviously they're charging us a premium for it, which is despicable, because this is how we should be eating anyway. Because that stuff that you're seeing in the supermarket with all those kind of bright colours and the packaging and the lying packaging that you see everywhere, that just isn't food. It's so far removed from food, it's absolutely unbelievable. This is food. This is, fantastic food from, nature's harvest. You don't need to do anything to it. It's a natural food source, which is why I'm going to show you today just how to make really simple ice lollies, which you can give to your children, because you do not need to be buying that stuff in the supermarket. Even the ones that claim to be healthy, and I've been kind of exposing these so-called healthy products recently, nearly all of them contain processed sugar, which is appalling. And the only sugar that you want to be having is either fruit sugar or raw cane sugar, and even then you should be limiting that raw cane sugar, because it's not something that we need. And actually illness thrives on sugar, and we know that about cancer cells in particular, that they just devour sugar, and that helps them to multiply. So we want to be reducing that. Fruit sugar though, however, unless you're diabetic, is perfectly safe, and I really don't see any problems with you eating fruit as much as you want. And as I've spoken about before, I follow a raw till 4 vegan diet, and quite often I am actually raw all day. But if I'm not, then in the evening I will eat something that is so lightly cooked it's barely cooked at all. So you're talking about something steamed. And the way to add flavour to these things is to use, basically, naturally brewed soy or fermented soy products are fantastic, and they add flavour to everything. So you've got naturally brewed soy sauce, miso, tahini is also fantastic for adding flavour to things, which is basically, it tastes exactly like peanut butter, but it's made with sesame. I will be continuing to post different recipes and show you sort of different products that I recommend to actually create some really amazing food without having to put anything processed in there. Because it's so important as well to be talking to your friends and family about this and letting them know that the reason that there are so many people that look old, ill, haggard, and kind of, unable to function properly in their lives at a young age is because the food is poisonous. More people need to understand that this isn't just, it's a little bit poisonous, or it's not just, oh, I know I should be eating healthy, but, I like unhealthy food. There really isn't a choice in this. This stuff is killing people without a doubt, and you just see it all the time. There's new additives coming out all the time. They're rebranding poisonous additives in the food. This is a situation that is getting worse and has been getting worse certainly since the 1970s. If people say, oh yes, but my grandma was eating processed food or whatever, okay, well that isn't good anyway, but the food is getting worse without a doubt. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly show you how to make these, which is really, really simple. So you're going to use the blender, and I've got half a mango, I've got some lime, and I've got some pineapple. That's basically all we're going to be using, and then we're going to be using filtered water. I've spoken about before how important it is to use filtered water in all of your smoothies, raw recipes, and in all of your cooked food as well. I'll put a link to the water filter that I use at the bottom of the video, because that's fantastic and it's totally changed my life basically. So let's get started. So what we're going to do is just put the pineapple. This is, by the way, 2 really sort of chunkily cut pineapple rings, and this will make kind of up to 10 small ice lollies. So you can buy those kind of ice lolly holders like this, pretty much from any, in fact no, you can't get them, funnily enough, from any high street shop, because they don't want us to be able to make things ourselves anymore. I don't know if any of you have noticed that there is a real change in that area in terms of being able to buy things that allow you to make your own food. That's changing, because what they want you to do is go and buy the frozen packeted ice lollies that contain loads of sugar, even the ones they say are healthy. So I'm going to squeeze the lime into here. Just to let you know, I actually bought those these ice lolly containers at Burt's, which is actually on most high streets. Okay, so all the lime juice is just going to be squeezed into here, which you can just do by hand. If you have got a squeezer, then that's even better. And you can actually chop up a few bits of lime to actually put into the containers as well, because frozen lime is absolutely amazing. And really, you could do these with any kind of smoothie if you think about it. You can also use these as a sorbet, so you don't have to use them as ice lollies. You could just put it into a bowl and put that in the freezer and kind of let it go 3/4 frozen, and then you've got a fantastic sorbet as well. Or you can just have it basically as a smoothie. Okay, so I've put the lime in there, and I am now going to put about 3/4 of a glass of frozen water in. Yeah, and that's pretty much done, depending on the quality of your blender. So really, you're just going to pour that into the holder and put this directly into the freezer. And then the rest, if there's any left over, then you've got a fantastic and really healthy smoothie as well, which tastes delicious and is really great at this time of year. It helps to kind of cool you down. And yeah, the reason I'm kind of doing these videos is just to show people how quick and easy it is to actually make food from scratch, and why we do not need to be buying any processed food. I mean, look how quick that was. So often it's just a mental block, and it certainly was in my case in the days when I used to eat processed food, because I haven't always been this way and I haven't always lived this way. What it was for me is I just couldn't get my head around how I would find the time to engage with it and actually create these meals myself. But actually, what I found is that most of them I can make in under 15 minutes, which is kind of the opposite of how it used to be. Because even when you're using those processed sauces, which they sell us to make pretty much everything, whether it be pasta dishes, curry, all kinds of oriental dishes and all the rest of it, they tell us that we need to buy a processed sauce to use with that. It takes far longer. Yeah, so really I'm just trying to kind of bring to people's attention what's going on with the food industry, and just encourage them to try to make things for themselves, and just to show them how easy it is. So I hope you found this video useful, and please keep checking back, because I am going to be doing loads of posts and videos over the next few weeks. Thanks a lot. Bye.